Welcome to episode 135, Cucumber Manhunt.
Crazy little thing called love, yeah. It's a crazy little thing called love. Oh yeah, come on, let's laugh and find out what today's episode is
It's
about.
Friday, the 13th. Unlucky for some. It's not Friday the 13th for you guys, but it was 2 days ago. I had to count how many days because I released this on a Monday. As it is Friday the 13th, which is the day I'm recording this podcast episode, I feel like it has been unlucky for me. I think I'm coming down with a cold. Maybe you can tell from my voice. I mean, it's Friday. It's 13th. Something's going to happen to me, isn't it? Let's be honest. The good thing is I have a gig tonight. Hopefully, by then, I will recover. I hope so. Oh, I'll tell you what else happened to me. Friday the 13th, unlucky for some. Another one. Does it come in threes, or do you just have 13 bad days? So you know I was telling you about, I'm getting a new telly. I can't wait. It's massive. Got an email from the company, LG, totally let me down, saying, and I don't know how this works, our website has crashed. All orders have been cancelled. I'm thinking, why would a website cancel your order? There's a lot more going on backstage with you guys, LG. Do you know what they said? It's going to take us 2 months to sort out the maintenance on the website. So nobody can buy anything from LG right now. You go on LG and it will say, oh, look at this fancy TV we've got. But unfortunately, you can't buy it. So you're going to have to go to another retailer. Couldn't believe it. I ordered it last week. I was supposed to get it tomorrow. Got so annoyed, I ended up buying something else. So they let me down. There you go. Another Friday the 13th right there. Not many people know where Friday the 13th actually comes from. But luckily for me, I have information on that. Did you know or did you not know that it actually came from the Knights Templar? You know the Knight Templars? Came from them, right? I'll tell you what happened, yeah. It was around 1118 centuries ago. And a monastic military order devoted to the protection of pilgrims travelling to the Holy Land following the Christian capture of Jerusalem. So during the First Crusade, right, the Knight Templars quickly became one of the richest and most influential groups in the Middle Ages. Well, thanks to lavish donations from the crowned, the heads of Europe, eager to curry favour with the fierce of knights. By the turn of the 14th century, I am reading something off the internet. By the turn of the 14th century, the Templars, they established a system of castles, churches and banks all through Western Europe. And they made such an astonishing wealth, right, which actually led to their downfall. So for the Templars, the end began in the early morning. It was the hours of Friday, October the 13th, 1307. So a month earlier, secret documents were sent by couriers throughout France. Oh, they had UPS service back then. That'd be neck. The papers included lurid details and whispers of black magic and scandalous sexual rituals. So they were sent by King Philip of France, by the monarch. And he launched attacks on the Lombards, which was a powerful banking group, and France's Jews. He had them expelled to confiscate their property. And in the days and weeks that followed up on the fateful Friday, more than 600 Templars were arrested, including the Grand Master, Jacques de Molay. Shout out to Jacques de Molay. And the Order's treasurer. But while some of the highest-ranking members were caught up in Philip's net, hundreds of non-warriors and middle-aged men from day-to-day banking and farming organisation, they were charged with offences for heresy, devil-worshipping, and spitting on the cross, homosexuality, fraud, and financial corruption. So basically, the Templars, they got raided on Friday the 13th, and I think they all died on that day. They got arrested and were sent to prison or something. I'm sure they all died. I'm sure they did. Because I remember watching it on a documentary. I was going to read more, but this article's too long. It's from the History Channel, if you want to know. So yeah, basically on Friday the 13th, all the Templars were burnt at the stake in Paris, which people believe is where Friday the 13th, the actual curse, comes from. There are other theories around it, but I do believe that this is a bit more of a genuine story rather than, I mean, I'm not going to slate anyone's religion, but they did say, what was it, the 12th disciple or something? There were 12 disciples at the Last Supper, and then one more turned up, which was 13, which led to the fate of Jesus. But I think it's more of the Templar story, to be honest. I think that's where more of the story comes from. But I don't know why I wanted to tell you that, but I love little facts like that. Talking about facts, how about we do... I haven't done it in ages. It's been a while since I've actually done this. Let's do a...
Ask the UK.
It's been a while since I've done Ask the UK, hasn't it? I feel like I've left it out. I'll never leave out Ask the UK. Today's Ask the UK has been posted by One Big 9383 on the Ask the UK Reddit forum. One Big wants to know, have you experienced anything creepy in the UK countryside? I think I did. Before I read anything of what he's put down, I think I did. I'm going to say a quick story. I might have told this ages ago. Maybe it was on my Halloween episode. Remember driving back home from a gig, and it was Derby. It was the A38, which is a dual carriageway between Derby and Birmingham. I was heading home, as I said. Get to the story. And I saw this bloke, right? He's walking on the left side, and it was pitch black. He had a pair of jeans on, and he had a brown leather jacket, and he looked quite slim in build. And he was walking down the street, yeah? And I remember overtaking him, and I even beeped my horn. And I looked back in the rearview mirror, and I couldn't see him. And then I thought to myself, did I just see someone walking on the side of the street? Or is it actually a person and they're on their way home from a night out? And I was thinking, no one who walks down a dual carriageway. There was no pavement. It was just, road and then trees and, countryside. And I found that very bizarre. And I don't know what happened, but maybe I did see something creepy. One Big. Do you reckon? I think I did. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I know I've mentioned it before in the past. I'm sure I have. 100%. But because of the question, that's the only weird thing I've seen in the countryside. Apart from cows. I used to walk through a cow field years ago. That's something else. Anyway, he says, or they have said, anyone experienced anything creepy or odd in the countryside? ? I've told you my story. I'm making this post because Matt Smith recently said that the English countryside is creepy, and it made me think of this story I read years ago. In it, there was this guy who worked in Yorkshire or something, investigating the disappearance of this girl. He interviewed some old people about it, and they were friendly at first. But when he asked them about the girl, they would go cold, and they were unwilling to talk. Then some of the comments in whatever thread this was, saying it was likely she was abducted by a pedo ring. Oh my God. Probably true, mate. And some said that pedos were powerful. Yeah, they've got money, haven't they? We've seen it. Crack on. There used to be a pedo ring of politicians. No surprise there. Heads of police forces and stuff like this. And they would live and meet up in old English villages. This sort of thing. Another was this guy, for whatever reason, ended up having to walk through a bunch of fields at night in the countryside. That's probably me when I used to walk past the cows. And he heard distant screaming and gunshots. What? In the UK? Could be a fox, though. Could be a fox getting shot because they scream, don't they? I remember on my 18th birthday, I took a walk through a nearby forest and some fields. I saw a red glow coming from the end of the path. I walked towards it slowly, and it was this red light in the middle of a dirt path, and a group of people standing around it in a circle. Mate, what is going on there? One was in a wheelchair. Bloody hell, how did they get the wheelchair down the field? It was about 1 a.m. I sprinted out of the fields and back to where the houses were, out of fear. There's some ritual stuff going on there, isn't it? So, has anyone else experienced some creepy or disturbing things out in the British countryside, or heard of stories like this? It could make an entertaining and interesting thread. It is an interesting thread, one big. Like I said, it wasn't really in the field, but there was a field next to it. And I think I saw a ghost, man. I beeped at a ghost. Apart from that, I haven't seen anything else. There was a time I saw a big cat, and that was next to a field. So I suppose that was one. People are going to think I'm mad, innit? That's why it's a crazy little thing called Love Dev, because it's my crazy world. I haven't seen it. I saw this isn't weird, but I saw a tornado. I was on a train and I was coming back from London. It was during the daytime. And I looked and I saw this I thought, is that a tornado? It was a little tornado, but it wasn't touching the ground. But I actually saw it. It was like a baby tornado. But that isn't creepy, is it? That's like just nature. I don't think I have. I probably will remember as I'm reading out. I do want to read some of the comments that some people have said. Someone has put down, I was going to say that I heard the most unholy screaming outside of my tent. I wasn't worried because it was a camp and there were other people around it. It was kind of fun as other people were chatting. It really did sound like a girl being tortured. Do you think in this country, in the United Kingdom, that people do meet up and have rituals? And it's all undercover? Do you think that happens? It's got me thinking about it now. Do you know what? It probably does, and we don't know about it. Because it's a secret society, isn't it? I'm not going to point fingers at people. But I would not be surprised that people meet up and do sacrifices and all that other crazy stuff. I ain't surprised, mate. I'm going to leave it there, but if any of my listeners, whether you're not in the UK or not, it doesn't matter. If you've ever experienced something strange out in the field, I would love to know. Do let me know if you've ever had that experience. Because not only it'll be interesting, maybe I could use it on my Halloween special. I didn't do one last year, did I? I don't think I did one the year before. But I could do a Halloween special on just my listeners telling me if they've ever experienced weird stuff going on. You know, you can contact me via Buzzsprout, or you can contact me via my website if you fancy that. Just drop me a message, just a little story. If you want to be anonymous, you can be anonymous. That's absolutely fine. At least I know that you guys listen, and I'm doing it for a reason. That would be great. Saying that, I did get a lovely message, an email from Buzzsprout, my podcast provider, and they said, congratulations, you got 157 downloads. It was like, I mean, in a week. And I was like, what? In a week? Wow, 157. See, it shows if you're consistent, your podcast will get more listeners. So I appreciate that. Thank you. If you're new to this podcast, mate, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoy it. I'd love to get tips. If you want me to do other Reddit forums on here, if there's anything you think I could get rid of, or you just like to listen to me. Either way, doesn't really matter, does it? am debating whether the UK should have more toll motorways. Basically, I was going to a gig after work and I wanted to get there on time. Didn't mean to work, but, they put me down. I thought, fair enough, I'll do it, it's fine. So I wanted to get to the gig on time, and my Waze, the Waze app, gave me two options. I can either go via Manchester or I can cut through and get onto the M6 toll. And it suggested that, and I thought, I'm going to have to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to be late, and I don't want to be late. So I got on the M6 toll. Couldn't believe it. £9.70 to use the M6 toll. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's great. It's empty, obviously. Who's going to pay almost a £10, right? Under a tenner? Let's just call it £10, honestly. Why don't you just... Whoever's in charge of the M6 toll is probably a private company. I don't even know who it is. Could be those people in the field that do that weird, mad stuff. That's how they get on the fields, isn't it? I've solved the puzzle, man. They basically go on the M6 toll and they come off and they get in the field and they do their mad, crazy stuff. And they know they're not going to be seen that much because hardly anyone uses that. We can't afford £10 every time just to use it. But then I think it's great because it's clear. There's no one on it. Do you know what I mean? There's no speed cameras. Not that I'm telling people to speed. There's like good and bad about it. But I couldn't believe it, man. Tenner. Are you mad? I remember when it first come out, the M6 toll. I don't know how old it is. I know it's ancient now. It's got to be over 10 years plus. I remember it was a £5. I'm sure it was £3. Then it went up to £5. So in my head, before I got to the M6 toll, I thought, yeah, it's a £5. Don't matter. I don't mind paying that, long as I get there. £9.70. Couldn't believe it. And do you know what? I think it charged me twice, coming to think of it. So I've got two credit cards I'm not showing off. One's my business one. My other one's my personal. I remember using my business one first. And I thought, why is he not accepting the payment? Because the barrier didn't go up. Then I pulled out another card, a NatWest one, and I used that. And then it went up, and I thought, maybe, the other card didn't work. Then I got a message. Obviously, my phone always messages me when I've spent something. And it said £9.70 twice on both accounts. So I've literally just spent 20 quid on the M6 toll to go one way. And in mind, I'm thinking, do you know how much diesel I could have put in my car for that? That probably would have covered me. I was annoyed, I'll be honest, but oh well. With the rant, how about we do the news section to this podcast?
Truth, am I the a-hole? Tell me the truth, am I the a-hole?
Tell her the truth, is she the a-hole? Yes, is this person the a-hole for having my neighbour's car towed from my garage? This one has been posted by Sensitive Hat 8490 on the Reddit forum of Am I an A-hole? So, Sensitive Hat got a neighbour's car towed. Let's find out what the story is. My house is being built in a neighbourhood that's a few years old. My lot is one of the few remaining lots, and there are occupied houses surrounding mine. The exterior is basically complete, and the contractors are in the process of putting up the drywall. After work the other night, I decided to drive out to inspect the work. Everything looked fine until I decided to check out my garage. When I opened the door, I saw two cars and a minivan parked inside my garage. I called the contractor to see if he knew anything about it, and he was perplexed as I was. My guess is that one of my neighbours decided to park their car inside my garage. That's taking the Mickey Mouse, isn't it? I would be annoyed, man. I don't blame you for towing their car. Hello, excuse me, what do you think you're doing? Now, if they parked on my drive and they knocked on my door and asked me beforehand, and I don't know, they've got a party or something, and somebody needs to park their car, I'll be like, do you know what? Yeah, mate, go ahead, carry on. I don't mind. But to actually park your car in someone's garage, that's a laugh. Could be a stolen car, who knows? Let's see what happened. I was going to leave it alone, but the more I thought about it, the angrier I got. By the time I got to my car, I was steaming mad. So much, I called a tow company and had them tow all 3 vehicles away. Hold on a minute. There was 3 of them. I didn't read that properly. That's taking the... Yeah, mate, I don't blame you for doing that, sensitive hat. No wonder your name's called Sensitive Hat. I would be a sensitive hat for that. The next morning, my contractor called and told me the police was there to investigate the theft of vehicles. See, I knew it. Oh, or maybe somebody reported it. I had put the police on the phone, explained that I was the owner of the property, had the vehicles towed, and gave them the tow company information. My contractor told me that later the owners of those vehicles were shouting and cussing until the police made them leave. I went by after work and a guy confronted me about being an ass for having their vehicle towed. He was shouting about how I ruined their day because they missed work and their kids were late to school. He also said almost $1,000 to get all 3 vehicles back and that I'll be covering the costs. I told him good luck with that and that he's the ass for parking in my garage without my permission. We went back and forth until his wife came and pulled him home. Some of the other neighbours came out to watch our argument. Afterwards, some of them told me I was starting off on the wrong foot and should apologise. No? What kind of neighbours have you got? Your neighbours are telling you to apologise to that person who parks in your garage. I would move out of the area. Get out of that area, man. You don't need neighbours like that. They should be supporting you. If that happened in my neighbourhood where I live, unfortunately, I ain't got no more neighbours now, but my next door neighbour, if he was still around, Murph, he would have sorted them out as well. I remember we used to have a neighbour, right, and we all stuck together. His house kept getting burgled, and I was young then. I was like 18, 19, and he used to keep a baseball bat in his house, and I used to keep a crowbar, and I said to him, if anything ever happens, just shout at me, man. I'll be there for you. I'll help you. How can your neighbours say that? That's disgusting. That's worse than what they've done to your garage. I can't believe they haven't supported you. I'm going to carry on reading. I feel angry for you, mate. They said I should be more neighbourly and understand that my neighbours help each other out. One said I should have left a note instead of having them told. It all seems all my neighbours are against me. Do you know what? F them. Absolutely. I never swear on this thing, but you don't need that. I can see their points, and maybe I overreacted. I'm not sure. First of all, you are not the a-hole, if this generally happened. You are not the a-hole. Someone has invaded your space, your property. You have the right to remove them. If that was a burglar, you wouldn't go, oh yeah, carry on, mate. Leave your car there while you burgled next door neighbour's house. Absolutely fine. Nah, mate, that doesn't happen. If they came to you and asked you nicely, do you mind if we park our car on your driveway or in your garage? We're doing some work. That's a different thing. That's where you can make that decision. Absolutely disgusting. You are not the a-hole, basically. I'm not even going to read comments because I don't need to. Do not need to. Sensitive hat. I hope you win your battle. That's all I'm going to say. Talking about battles, I'm going to end the podcast with that. Not with that, but I'm going to end it with a weird news story. We always end this thing with a weird news story. This one is bizarre. It does come from the USA, as always. I'm not even going to go there. But anyway, yeah. So here is today's weird news story. A man wanted for indecent imposer with a cucumber in Northwest DC. Yes, a man has been doing unthinkable things to a cucumber. Of all the vegetables in the world, he decided to go for a cucumber. I don't know what he done with it. We're going to find out. Washington police said they are investigating after a homeowner's camera, another person invading another person's property, caught a man performing, you know what, on himself with a cucumber in her driveway. Oh my God, what is going on? Is this the same person who pulled up at Sensitive Hat's house and done the unspeakable things? The Metropolitan Police Department said it happened around 5:30 on Friday, September the 6th, in Truxton Circle neighborhood, not far from a high school. What the hell? DC News has obtained a video of a man from someone's camera, right, who shared the footage. It would help police identify the man to protect their neighbors and students. I was so disgusted and freaked out. Catherine Baker said this. Shout out to Catherine Baker for providing the footage. It was around dinner time when Baker's camera recorded a man. Oh, around dinner time. Imagine you're having food. You're having a cucumber sandwich. Yeah. And you witness something like that. It would scar you for life. It would probably put you... You'd forget about eating cucumbers, wouldn't you? You'll never touch another cucumber again. So, it was around dinner time, as I said. Baker's camera recorded a man with an apparent lunchbox entering her driveway, lodging a cucumber in the grill of Baker's SUV. The video shows the man checking to see if the coast is clear before turning his back to the SUV and began to use the cucumber in an disorderly manner. I want my neighbours to know and keep an eye out for this person. I want parents to be mindful. There's a lot of kids and they're like high school students. They might walk themselves to and from the school, and we've got to be vigilant about this kind of thing, Baker has said. The police report Baker filled details something else that is clear in the video. The man chose to keep going. He comes around the passenger side of the SUV, performs this weird act, appears to notice the security camera before putting the cucumber back in the lunchbox, walks away down the alley. I wonder if he ate that afterwards. It was that eye contact that really unsettled me, she said. I wonder if he was staring at the camera while he was doing it. Because it continues for longer than one would imagine. And of course, he saves the cucumber for later. So it really leaves me with a lot of questions that no one wants to have on their mind, said Baker, who had not seen the man prior to his appearance in the video. The DC indecent exposure law says that any public penetration violates the law. Penalties include a fine of up to $300, prison time, and no more than 90 days. So outside of this school, there are children walking around, neighborhood kids, elementary school, middle-aged and high school. So it's just a kind of friendly neighborhood. So we definitely want to get him out of here, and that's how it ends. With a cucumber, people are crazy, man. People are absolutely nuts out there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it.
It's a crazy little thing called love.
I did.
It's a crazy little thing called love. Oh yeah.
Thank you, folks. See you next week.